perhaps you've noticed, but we're building toward really leading with your numbers. And whether you're the startup, the high growth, the turnaround, this approach will work for any condition of any company. I want to just kind of take a moment and pause and summarize the previous videos and then take you into this next section, which we want to talk about how to create sustainable growth. And by the way, when I say sustainable growth, obviously to be sustainable, you must be profitable. So I've got 3 words I want you to remember: stop, stabilize, and sustain. Those words mean this: stop the cash flow hemorrhage. In other words, stop unneeded expenditures. Stabilize the company with profits and sustain with long-term profitable growth. So that's just an easy way to remember this 3-step strategy. And I'm going to connect this a little bit more. So today, I just want to sort of set the table so that you can see where we're going, and then we're going to dig into sustainable growth a little bit more. To do that, let me give you some time perspective on this. So with the stop, stabilize, and sustain, when you stop the cash hemorrhage, that's typically needs to happen in weeks to months. So if you're negative cash flow, remember, you're checking your cash flow every month, right? And if you're negative, boom, you need to stop that. You need to turn it positive as quickly as possible. And that's a period of weeks or months. More than likely, if it's longer than that, you're not going to make it. Okay. Next, we stabilize with profits. And that's months to years. Okay. So if you're going unprofitable, then, or if you are unprofitable, that may take a little longer to turn around. If you're noticing you're drifting into a downward trend of lower profits, well, get into the margins like we talked about, get into cost of goods, those sorts of things, and figure out ways to reverse that trend so that your profits start to nose up again. And by the way, the same thing is true for cash. If you're not a turnaround and you're not in a high growth situation, you still need to be checking your cash flow pulse. If you're noticing that cash balance, the net cash each month is dropping, then what you want to do is look for those unnecessary expenditures that you can start to shift that around. The third thing is sustain with profitable growth. And this is years to decades. And you go, decades? Wow, that seems like a long time. Well, it is 10 years, and could be 20 years, could be 30 years. But you'd be surprised how quickly you get down the road and you realize it's been almost 10 years. So let me show this to you from a excerpt from my book, The Next Level Entrepreneur. In it, on page 123, there's this prehistoric artwork, as Mr. A calls it. So Mr. A is the very successful entrepreneurial tycoon sage in New York City that a young man, Max North, writes for advice. And that begins, so the book is a whole exchange of letters between them and a downloading of business insights and wisdom, plus the strategic process called the Next Level Navigator, which I've used for years. This map gives an idea of how the flow of the process works. And it's pretty simple and can be applied by virtually anybody, anywhere. So off in the distance is what you envision. And that's way out there in time and space, quite frankly. It's a long way away. And next levels take you there. So every next level moves you closer to your vision. And the next level's over the hill, you'll notice. And that's because you can know the next level, but you can't see how to get there. That would be a next step. Next steps are higher up. You can spot them on the horizon or the top of the hill or something like that. They're right there. And they're closer. They're like 6 to 12 months. And you can see how to get there. You can know what they are. Several next levels will get you, several next steps will take you to your next level. And the next level is 3 to 5 years out. Well, let me overlay our 3 words. So next steps are like the stop, okay? I'm going to stop the cash flow hemorrhage. I'm going to stop the unavoidable, the avoidable expenses that I don't really need to be spending money on. And probably 6 months is too long on that, but it's that kind of thing. Then you've got profits. That's stabilizing those profits. That's like a next level thing. So maybe on the shorter end, so maybe 3 years, or even less, depending on your situation. The vision, however, that's sustained. That's way out there. So let me replace all these words with cash as the next step, profits as the next level, and growth as the vision. And you can see from this very clearly how all of this can flow. I want to leave you with a thought, and I want you to consider this question and start to figure out your answer to it. Where are you headed? Where are you leading your business? Where's your business headed? And I ask that question because I've asked that question of a lot of entrepreneurs over the years, and especially ones that I was going to be their CFO for. And I found that the ones who could answer that question well, I produced many times over return on their investment in my services. And the ones who couldn't, and it was just a few, but I found it was a struggle to even cover my costs or make a little bit more. So that'd be 1x or 2x. Very low return on my services. Now, here's the secret about that. It's not about me. This would be true of all of their employees. And the more productive, the more profitable companies, the faster out of the starting gate are the ones that have clear vision, clear next levels, and clear next steps. And that translates to growth, profits, and cash. And I want you to be that kind of company. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. And in the meantime, write down some answers. Writing will be good for you. Write down where's my company headed? All right?